The man in black waited in line. He did not look happy to be waiting in line, but then again, few people did. Chancellor Felix Knorr found his eyes drawn to the man time and again as he performed his own duties. His clothing is just awful, he thought, straightening his own ermine-lined sleeves. Though what's worse, to be awful or to be dull? A seemingly endless crowd waited in the audience chamber, their murmurs overlapping in a background babble. Their modes of dress varied, but none belonged to the noble lineages of New Albion, represented by the banners that hung from the walls, the eagle of Nasser, the salamander of Falad, the lion of Vayencourt, and so on. Nobody, then, worth paying much attention to. The Chancellor sighed and threw back his wine. When he slammed the goblet down against the arm of his chair, the serf at the front of the queue hopped, turning several shades paler, and choked on his tongue. The Chancellor's knights urged him forward, but the serf failed to recover, and his speech stumbled. This brought Chancellor Felix Knorr no amusement. It made the process drag on intolerably. Still, he couldn't shun his duties, not with the church watching. The man in black was next. He jumped the queue somehow, the family of farmers behind him appearing oddly frozen. Without waiting for a summons, he marched forward, his pinched, weaselly face jutting forward with unearned haughtiness. Chancellor Felix Knorr leaned in for a better look. The man's black robe blended with his dark, limp hair to give the impression of a cowl. Perhaps it was a purposeful perversion of an elder's white gown. The Chancellor glanced at the church representative seated to his right, curious to see her reaction. Elder Beth was busy with a drinks order. A stooge hovered, bent nearly double to better hear the woman, peppering every pause with compliments as to her taste. "I am the sorcerer, the man began, his voice raised imperiously over the merchants, farmers, and freshly washed peasantry who waited to be seen behind him. "Hold on." Chancellor Knorr raised a hand heavy with rings. "Elder Beth, do you have any thoughts on his robe?" Elder Beth frowned, clearly annoyed by the interruption.
"The shade is unpleasant. What does black symbolize? Death and wickedness. And that cut, does he pretend to be a monk?"
The man glared up at the elder with undisguised hatred. He was lanky and tall, but he stood some feet beneath them, a dais keeping the Chancellor and his guest clear of the masses. "I don't pretend to be anything. I am the sorcerer Merulo, and I have come to announce my intentions." At his proclamation, a hush fell over the crowd. Chancellor Knorr thumped his goblet meaningfully against the arm of his chair. In answer, the knights guarding the dais ceased their yawning and scratching of armoured asses and stiffened, ready to advance.
"Insolent creature, what are your intentions?"
The elder's words rang clear and strong across the audience chamber.